action. We start this hour with some breaking news, and Swedish police have confirmed that a bus collision in Stockholm has resulted in multiple fatalities and injuries. The incident, which occurred earlier today, is still under investigation, and authorities have not yet determined the cause of the crash. Now, according to Swedish Daily, a news outlet in Sweden, emergency services are on the scene assisting those injured. Further details regarding the victims' identities or the specifics of the crash remain scarce at this current time. Authorities are urging the public to avoid the area as they work to clear the wreckage and gather evidence. We will, of course, bring you updates as they come on that developing story. We stay in Europe for our top story of the hour, and Ukraine's military launched a series of strikes on key Russian facilities, including a ship base in Novorossiysk, which is an oil refinery in the Saratov region of Russia, and also a fuel depot near Engels. The General Staff confirmed the use of Neptune missiles and attack drones, resulting in explosions and fires. The strikes targeted critical military and fuel infrastructure, with significant damage reported. These actions mark an escalation in Ukraine's efforts to disrupt Russian supply chains and military capabilities amidst the ongoing war. We're now joined by David K. Johnson. He's an American author, and he joins us live from New York City to discuss these updates in the Ukraine war. Thank you very much for joining us, David. Of course, today we've seen a devastating barrage of strikes on the Ukrainian capital, as well as strikes going the other way, Ukraine saying that they are targeting Russian infrastructure. As we creep into those winter months and energy becomes more and more crucial. What are your thoughts of the current dynamics of this war, David? Of course, we're seeing Russia target the Ukrainian capital, the heart of the country today, as well as these strikes from Ukraine onto Russian energy infrastructure. What are your thoughts about today's actions on the battlefield?
Tom, the latest drone strikes represent a change in what's going on. Now, the whole Russian invasion of Ukraine has led to significant changes in military strategy and tactics, and the development of drone warfare in a way that nobody would have seen 5 or 10 years ago. The latest attack by the Ukrainians on Black Sea oil is about 900 air miles from Kyiv. So they've now got drones that they're either able to penetrate into Russia, launch them and run away, or they've got very long-range unmanned aircraft that can deliver powerful explosives. And the Russians have suspended oil transport out of their major Black Sea oil terminal. On the other side of this, the Russians are following the same military doctrine that dates back to the days of the czars and the aristocracy called the boyars. They pay no attention to the rules of war as developed in Western Europe. They attack civilian targets, obstetrics hospitals where babies are being delivered, and old people's homes and schools. And these intensified Russian drone attacks on Kyiv are clearly designed to wear down the resolve of the Ukrainian people to resist the Kremlin.
Yes, and David, of course, this comes in a diplomatic backdrop of the Russian foreign minister today stating that Russia is still willing to meet President Donald Trump. Well, Vladimir Putin is still willing to meet President Donald Trump. However, said there was some precursors for the meeting. Of course, the US was the one who additionally pulled out of that meeting. On the diplomatic side, how do you think things are moving, of course, as we see Russia step up its attacks, particularly, of course, in the Donbass and that crucial battle for Pavlovsk?
Well, with the proviso that Donald, whom I've known and covered for almost 40 years and written 3.5 books about, is mercurial and he can turn on a dime. Putin clearly has overplayed his hand with Trump. Trump ran for office saying, I'll settle this war in one day. I don't even have to become president. I just have to win the election and it'll be over. And that's not what's happening. Putin has no reason to give up what he's trying to do in conquering Ukraine. So the key thing to watch for now is whether the European countries increase their aid. They've put more money into this than the United States has. And whether the US consistently supplies not just armaments. Europe and the US aren't giving money to Ukraine, they're giving them weaponry, which is a jobs creation program, absurd as that sounds, in those countries. And whether they maintain the provision of intelligence to help the Ukrainians deal with the Russians. Because in a long-run war of attrition, the simple fact that Russia has roughly 3 times the population of Ukraine means that Ukraine is going to have a hard time holding out if this war goes on for years.
Okay, David K. Johnson, do stay with us as we have further updates coming out of Ukraine, where a Russian drone strike has hit a market in the southern port city of Kornomorsk, located in Ukraine's Odessa region, leaving at least 2 women dead and 11 others injured, including a toddler. Ukrainian Governor Ole Kiper confirmed the fatalities and said the injured victims, including a 1-year-old girl, sustained shrapnel and blast wounds. Meanwhile, Ukraine's military intelligence has revealed that Russia plans to produce around 500 new 200-kilometer range guide bombs this very year, with efforts underway to extend them to the range of 400 kilometers. Additionally, Russia is set to manufacture approximately 70,000 long-range drones in 2025, including 30,000 Shahed drones. Ukraine's military intelligence also reports that Russia is firing an average of 200 to 250 glide bombs daily at Ukraine. David, you spoke then about, of course, how the battlefield looks completely different, how this time 5 years ago we wouldn't see the same drone warfare that we do today. And what those statistics that we've just read out really reveal is what you have just said. Could you tell us a little bit more about modern warfare? Of course, these aerial attacks are ongoing on an almost daily basis. Russia here, manufacturing approximately 70,000 long-range drones in this year alone. Tell us a little bit more about how the battlefield, how the air has developed during this conflict.
Let me go back for a moment. More than 50 years ago, the United States military used early model drones to conduct dogfights, jet fighter dogfights in the South Pacific with the pilots at control stations at the Pentagon in Washington, across from Washington, D.C. And this was a very early sign that we were going to see unmanned aircraft used in warfare. It costs a fortune to put a pilot in a plane and all the safety features that are involved. It's very cheap to produce drones. And so we're seeing this massive ramping up of drones, which also doesn't cost you casualties on your side. One could argue it's a cowardly way to pursue a war, but we're going to see more and more drone strikes as the ability to build them and the experience that will lead to refinement in their capabilities continues. And so a year from now, I won't be surprised if you and I are talking about twice as many drone strikes per day by each side, or 3 times as many.
Yes, David, do stay with us. We have further updates.